Hi guys, my name is Tomcat and welcome back to Forza Motorsport 7. Now, with the release of the latest Forza Motorsport 7 update, we have been given access to the McLaren Senna, which has previously only been available in Forza Horizon 4. But thankfully, they have brought it over to Forza 7 so we can use it in its natural habitat on the racetrack. And what better racetrack to take it to than the famous Road Atlanta? Now, I actually did quite a few laps in this car with a controller and then more with a wheel, and I was faster, consistently faster with the wheel, which is why I'm showing the gameplay with the wheel later on in this video. But another thing I wanted to talk about is the Gumpert Apollo IE, which has basically been confirmed by the fact that it's been shown on the main menu. So consider the fact that that car has been seen on the main menu. Literally, like, you see the wheel, you see a bit of the front bumper, you see a bit of the canards, you see the brakes that say Apollo on them, and it matches up to pictures of the Apollo IE itself. So will it be coming in DLC? Will it be coming in a actual, like, you know, like almost like a future addition to the game? We're not sure, but what we are sure of is that the Apollo IE would be such a welcome addition to the Forza series, both in the motorsport side and the Horizon side. So that, just to get it out of the way, that is a huge deal. Now also, Forza Edition cars are now able to be purchased in the main dealership area. So I'll give you a full rundown in a second of all of the cars that are available, but if you have not yet been able to get your hands on either any or most of the Forza Edition cars, now's your chance to grab them from the actual dealership. And the list is the 95 BMW 850 CSI Forza Edition. I'm not going to say Forza Edition at the end of each one of these names because that would be a lot of names to say, but the 95 BMW 850 CSI, 91 M3, Cadillac ATS-V, Escalade ESV, Chevy Bel Air, Chevelle Supersport 454, 64 Chevrolet Impala Supersport 409, Chevrolet Monte Carlo Supersport, let's see, Chevrolet Supersport, Dodge Charger Daytona Hemi, Dodge Dart GT, Ferrari 599XX Evolution, Ford F100, Ford F-150 Raptor, Ford F-150 Raptor Project Scorpio, Ford Fiesta XR2, Ford Mustang Boss 302, Ford SVT Cobra R, Ford FPV Limited Edition Pursuit Ute, Ford Super Deluxe Woody Wagon, Holden Tirana A9X, Honda Civic Type R 97, 2016 Honda Civic Type R, 93 Jaguar XJ220, 99 Lamborghini Diablo GTR, 2016 Mazda MX-5, 2013 Mercedes A45 AMG, 2016 Mercedes C63 AMG S Coupe, 2012 Mercedes C63 AMG Coupe Black Series, 1965 Mini Cooper S Forza Edition, 2012 Mini John Cooper Works GP Forza Edition, I'm saying Forza Edition again, 1987 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am GTA, 1980 Subaru Brat GL, 1998 Subaru Impreza 22B STI, and 98 TVR Cerberus Speed 12. Now, all of those, except for the F-150 Raptor Project Scorpio Edition, the Diablo GTR, and Cerberus Speed 12, all except those are Forza Edition cars, which means you've pretty much got access to all of the Forza Edition cars you might want to get your hands on. And now, without any further ado, let's begin the laps of Road Atlanta in the Senna with my wheel. Now, driving the Senna with a wheel is a very different experience from driving it with a controller. You're definitely a lot more connected to the car, obviously, but this car feels a lot better to me with a wheel because you'll see that in the first couple of laps, I'm definitely kind of wrestling with the car, but the more you get accustomed to the way this car drives, the more it makes sense to drive it with a wheel instead of a controller because it responds so well to minor inputs and small details that it really just makes more sense to drive it with the wheel because you have that fine adjustability. And you could argue that it's the same way with every car, but I think some cars really show it more than others, and this is definitely one of the cars that shows that more than a lot of other cars do. And I think when I talk about adjustability, what I really mean is the ability to make minor adjustments mid-corner because you have the ability to use so much downforce, and you can keep the throttle down in a lot of places where you normally wouldn't be able to in a car with this much power. Now, there are some corners, yes, that are lower speed where the downforce isn't doing quite as much, and so you can obviously get the back end to come out and get the rear tires to spin. But to be honest, it's actually a very controllable car when the rear end does slide out. Now, when the rear end slides out, you just have to make sure that you're catching it quick enough, number one, and number two, be willing to use different techniques to rotate the car. This car likes to rotate on throttle, but it likes to rotate off throttle too. And if you get your balance, basically if you unbalance the car on the way into the corner, you can definitely put yourself in a bit of a weird situation that you might not want to put yourself in, put it that way. And once you do that a few times, you realize what this car likes and what it doesn't like. But I think the biggest thing that I love about this car is that the fun factor is absolutely off the charts. I mean, my best lap from this session was about a 120, which my best with it, see, that's the thing. My best with a controller is like a good bit slower than that. I'm by far faster with a wheel than I am with a controller, especially in this car. And no matter what kind of car you're in, a 120 at Road Atlanta is very fast, in my opinion. Unless you're in a Formula 1 car, a 120 is fast, and like then nobody's gonna change my mind. A 120 is definitely up there, which also coincidentally dethrones the production car lap record that was set in real life by Porsche with the GT2 RS. Now, do I think that this car has an actual shot of beating that record? I don't know. It really could. Now, do I think that McLaren is going to bring a Senna to Road Atlanta to attempt it? Probably not. I don't think they really have much interest in a Road Atlanta record, but if they did, it would be a really cool car to do it in, and it would definitely be something that would go down in history for sure. And I think you could consider the Senna a production car. I mean, it is really, it's a production car, so I don't really see how there would be a problem there in calling it, you know, the production lap record holder if for example, it were to go and actually set it. Now, sure, it's not produced anywhere near, you know, on the same scale as the GT2 RS is, but it's definitely up there with some of the craziest cars ever made, in my opinion. And you know what I think that the other thing that I love about it too is the fact that, you know, it's got all this power, all this downforce, but it doesn't feel overpowered. Like the Koenigsegg's, for example. I love the Koenigsegg's, but around a road course, they feel ridiculously overpowered. And then the Bugattis, they all feel heavy. And this doesn't feel overpowered or heavy. It feels like it has a lot of power, but it doesn't feel overpowered. And it also feels light enough to where you have this playfulness going into a corner, and then midway through the corner, and then on the way out of a corner, and it's just a playful car. But you also have to be willing to, like I was back there, you have to be willing to catch that rotation, because it will happen, and you have to be willing to let the wheel go and then grab the wheel again, because counter steer will need to happen in this thing. Trust me. And I think there are a couple more times on the last lap where I intentionally got it out of shape a little bit just to see how it was and just to kind of play around with the handling balance of the car. But it's definitely one that's worth driving and worth, you know, having a look at. And as you can see, you can actually fully carry out a slide around pretty much any corner that you want to. It's not one of those cars that punishes you for sliding it. And that's one of the other things that I love about it. It doesn't punish you for having fun. You can slide the back end around. You can, you know, drift it a little bit, have some fun. You're not going to be doing any kind of Formula D style tandeming in this car, at least not from the factory. You might with some crazy, weird, wacky Forza mods, but anyway, you're not going to be doing drifting like that, but the drifting that you are going to be doing, you're going to be having fun because it's very predictable, and it doesn't try to yell at you for sliding it around. It's like it's not one of those cars that's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to do that. Why are you doing that? You need to stop, and you need to stop now. Stop having fun. That's not the goal here." And while it is very, very solidly focused on setting lap times, this car actually has a bit of a playful side to it. It really does. It really does have a playful side to it, and it's a car that can set lap times and have a good time while doing it. So that is kind of a full rundown and full list of all the things that I love about the McLaren Senna and why I'm so grateful that it's in Forza Motorsport 7. But it's also a rundown of other things like the Forza Edition cars that are now available from the dealership, plus the Gumpert Apollo IE being supposedly confirmed for the Forza series. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to click that like button. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell to stay up to date. There is tons of new content on the way very, very soon, especially with the wheel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you all later.